I'm here today with a Traveler's Notebook flip through for you. This book is one that I really love. I did a tutorial video on how to make these like textile art journal covers. So this one, I finally got to use it and I'm so happy. So this is some beautiful silk fabric that I made this flower out of. And there's stitching in the middle, there's hand spun yarn, fabric leaves, bits of fabric that have been stitched here, and I patchworked the entire cover of this and used that same yarn tying technique that you see in old like patchwork quilts. And so the journal closes with this, it's almost like a t-shirt fabric. It's this beautiful stretchy closure that is stitched right into the cover, so it's nice and long. You can tie a nice bow there. And it has a 3-hole binding. It's a single signature journal. Inside you'll see the patchwork continues. It's got a lot of vintage fabric. It's all been sort of slow or crazy stitched, freeform stitched. So on the inside, we start off with this pocket. This is a vintage 1950s photograph of this family and their Dalmatians sitting in the snow. There's a barn in the background. It's a cute little pocket. Then we have some botanical tea-dyed paper in back here. And then inside is a collaged tag, and it has a little tuck spot here, and it says putting your dreams to paper. And this is from like a book of sort of simple pleasures to make your life better. And then inside of it, the vintage ephemera is this. It is a CB radio calling card. So this was a popular kind of hobby communication method in the 70s and 80s, usually used by travelers and truck drivers to kind of keep in touch with each other, you know, pre-cell phone era. So this one is Wood Chopper from Haliburton, Ontario. And so on back, it has some more information on like the channels that this person would use. So they used these cards to kind of like communicate with each other, and you would drop them off at like a meetup or a truck stop or wherever you would be seeing people so that you could keep in touch. You'd have each other's like nickname and info. So this is cabbage dyed paper with a little paper collage at the bottom. This is from a vintage silk fabric that I scanned and made a digital from, and it has this little crocheted flower and lace at the bottom. Cabbage dyed, this is tea dyed, and there's a little fabric collage with some vintage buttons here. This is a vintage playing card, and it's holding onto a vintage postcard. This is from the Tourist Church in Daytona Beach, Florida. It is not written on in back. This is a 70s postcard. There is map up above, and then a tea-stained damask paper. This is a cute pocket made from a Richard Scarry book. And then these I found inside a box of 45 records that they had this neat embossing on them, and I added some vintage candy stickers. So it's just a large journaling spot. Oops, goes this way so you can see the number 22. And then this is blank on back, and it's on ledger paper. It's been paper clipped on. It's actually from a late 1800s Grimm's fairy tales book, and it's just a black and white bookplate. And on this side, we have a little collaged pocket. It's sort of a tuck spot and a pocket, so it's like a double pocket. Cabbage dyed paper at back. This is a plant card about the giant salvinia. And on back it has children's tracing, learning to write cursive paper from a nature study course. And then this is a little collaged bird tag with some nice lace, and that pops right inside the actual pocket of this pocket, which I will get open here. There it is. And this is cabbage dyed paper with this leaf on the bottom. This is actually just a fun card that I found, like a greeting card. It says, hello there. And just a little collage down here with a little airplane coming up and some washi tape. Some just nice red paper. And then this is a beautiful botanical page that's been tea dyed, and it has an index card pocket up top with the letter S and some lace and a little safety pin with some beads, and then a little verse here from the 1950s. And this is a tag that has Cinderella on it from a vintage children's book from the 50s, and it says, "Suddenly the clock began to strike 12." And it has black walnut dyed paper on the back, some stenciling, some coffee dyed paper with a fabric ruffle, and this lovely set of metal leaves from vintage jewelry. They're on a bulb pin. This is tea dyed. This is from an iris kit from Teal and Tattered on Etsy. And there's a brass paper clip on this side holding onto a couple pieces of vintage ephemera. The first is this vintage plant card on the African fern pine. You could cover the back if you wanted with paper to make it a journal card, but I thought I would leave it alone because it's vintage and you could decide what to do with it. This is a vintage photograph from the 1950s, and it is a tintype, and you can see it's like a couple of ladies and maybe three ladies, actually, three people in this beautiful garden. And hopefully you can see the shine of the tintype. And this is tea dyed paper. On this side we have a flip out of some beautiful sparrows and other birds from a vintage bird field guide. This is just some washi tape on some cabbage dyed paper. And we have another flip out from another children's vintage book. It was called Dipsy Donkey. And this is like a double pocket. So down below we have another vintage photograph of what looks like maybe a couple at like a prom or a wedding, and then maybe one of their parents. It's a 1950s photo. And inside there we have this little botanical tag. There's a damask pocket back here. It's cabbage dyed paper, and inside there's this verse that says, "My bed is a boat," and that's from a vintage children's book. This is cabbage dyed digital paper with beautiful dragonflies up here, and a lace pocket on the back, and a collaged journal card that says "Little Things," and it has some fairies, and this is an Ernst Haeckel sticker. At the center of this journal is this beautiful image of these birds, and this is from a vintage children's book called Wedding Birds. And there's a tab up here, and a carnelian bead is attached to it. More of the beautiful birds. And then a rusted paper clip over here on cabbage dyed paper that has a couple pieces of ephemera. So this is from a box set of the story of the Wild Swans. It's a beautifully illustrated box set of the story. And then this is a really cool postcard from the British Library. Illustration by Frank R. Paul for Hugo Gernsback, Ralph, 12. Yeah, I don't know what the rest of this means, but yeah, it's cool. It's from the British Library. Then this is this cute toad, beautiful digital page, and a blue lace pocket on cabbage dyed paper with this collage tag with a paper crane and a little verse that says, "I had a little nut tree, nothing would it bear but a silver nutmeg and a golden pear." And over here we have not a pear, but a lemon. And then this is a brass paper clip holding another page of a vintage bird field guide on this beautiful botanical paper. And then we have some tea-dyed watercolor paper with a vintage button that's been oxidized and has some lace behind it to make a tab. This is tea-dyed paper. This is from Teal and Tattered. And then this is leaf rubbings and prints, and it has a little fabric lace tab here. This is from a nature study book, and it's been tea-dyed. And then we have a little German verse here, and it's a pocket, and it's from an 1876 German folk art book. And this is some cabbage dyed paper. And then we have this sort of card. Inside it says, "Breads, Muffins." It was from like a file folder that someone stored their old recipes in. And then I added this beautiful image on the front with this flower photography. There's a paper tab here, and this is on some bee and fruit related tea-dyed paper. This is just a burgundy page. And this is the other side of that card that you saw earlier. It says, didn't want too much time to fly by without keeping you in the loop. Welcome to Sweet Springs. And then there's just some vintage book page here for writing on. Cabbage dyed leaf paper with feed sack lace tab. Some ledger with another beautiful fabric tab with incredibly beautiful buttons. This one is so iridescent. It is a shell bead. It's gorgeous and really big. This is a pocket from a Richard Scarry book. And this is a very old piece of newspaper from like the 1950s, I believe. Yeah, it's early 1950s, and it's like information about the late Sir John Willison. His obituary appeared in the paper that week, and so it's like a little bit of history about him. It's just a nice old piece of paper, and this is a Florida Sunshine State postcard, and on back it is not written on. It is from the 1970s. It was part of an estate auction, a big box of postcards that I got. This is just some beautiful damask tea-dyed paper, and then we have a tuck down here of beautiful lace on tea-dyed paper and a collaged tag that says, rain, rain, go away, come again another day. And that goes in here. Tea-dyed paper, cabbage dyed paper with a little crocheted flower stitched at the top. This is from a piece of fabric that I scanned. And this is a brass paper clip holding on to this beautiful vintage 1957 July tintype photo of this little family. How cute are these kids? Like, they're so cute. I love them. Then this is a page of botanicals with this office style little envelope that's a tuck spot, and this is made from a children's book. It's a tag. It says sat around the table and had a big meal. So that tucks in there, and then this opens up, and inside of it there actually is a little piece of ephemera. It is a $1 bill from a handmade Monopoly style game that was made in the 1980s. I found it during one of my thrifting adventures. It was super cute. And then that's the back of the journal. You'll see the collaging continues inside. There's some nice sparkly fabric and sequins here. So that is the whole journal. So thank you so much for watching. These journals, there will be a whole series of these journals and videos coming out. You'll see that they're kind of similar, but each one has unique things in them, but they have sort of a similar design. They're part of a series that I've done for a holiday market that I'll be attending, but I'll be putting some of them in my Etsy shop. The best way to find them and to follow me is through Etsy, because you'll see what I'm posting in terms of like looking to purchase a journal. But I would love it if you subscribe to the YouTube channel and hung out with me. We do fun things here, and you will see some more journal flip throughs coming along after this one. You can find all of my social media information down below in the description box, and I hope you have a great day. Bye for now.